Hello everybody, it's November 7th, 2022. I hate being right, I just have to say that. We'll go over here to review what I said on Friday. Title of the video was Pullback Likely Quite Soon. Was looking for potentially 21.7 first, but it didn't quite reach that area. It stalled out right around 21,450 instead. That's all right. Is what it is. So we had many possibilities at the time. So I'm going to go over those again on the chart. I am out of my leverage longs. I stopped out of those in profit. Actually, yesterday, most of them stopped out in profit. And I've got significant profit still from off the bottom. And earlier today, I sent out an alert to members right around the time ETH was at 1,600 and Bitcoin was around, I don't know, what was that, 20, somewhere in the 20s. I don't even remember now. I sent out an alert that I was selling some of my spot buys, not all of them, but some of them, just to raise some cash to get ready for this pullback. Now the pullback is happening right now and is significantly deeper than I was expecting, to be honest, or significantly quicker, not deeper. So anyway, let's get rid of this and let's go over these scenarios here. So first off, we can now remove the green scenario because we've broken down through this channel, and so we're done with, if this is 5 waves up, we're done with it. So we're going to get rid of that green scenario there. All right. Now, we are still in between the blue, this one here, saying this is a 5 wave diagonal upwards. We're in between that and the WXY, which started all the way back here, WXY, and then we would head down to that sub 17.8 area, which we have so far failed to get to. All right, so those are the two scenarios basically. And honestly, this is a leading diagonal, so it is not super trustworthy. I cannot say for sure that this is the bullish path that we are in. But I'm going to go ahead and remove this yellow fib now. It served its purpose. Right there. This is Bitcoin, obviously just very, very lightly tapping the top of that resistance zone I had drawn there before dying. So I was hoping it would push up higher into that, but alas, it did not. We obviously did not get this impulse to 22K. Which would have been very helpful, saying the bottom is in, so we're going to get rid of that little note there too. All right, that was our confluence area there, just trying to clean the chart up. All right, so now we can draw a fib from bottom to top, and the general area, if this is a first wave, the general area we want to see hold is the 382 to 618. However, with this being a diagonal, they often go deeper. So I'm actually going to put this box down 1 fib, 0.5 down to 786 instead. And of course, obviously we're already there, so it's easy for me to do that. But if this was an impulsive wave, I would say it should hold, this area here. But being a diagonal instead, best case scenario, it holds that. And invalidation comes below 18,541. Below that area, I know it's it's not super helpful because that's quite near the low that we struck down here, but it is helpful when you've already stopped out, right? This was actually the point right here. Let me zoom in real quick. 5 minute. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. This is what I was watching earlier today. Right here, after we hit that 20,500 low, I was watching this forming. I was seeing this pump, and I said, right in this area, if this does not continue to push upwards and we start seeing it break down below like 20.7, I'm probably going to look to sell. So when I saw this breakdown, that's where I sent out the alert that said, you know what, get out. It's going deeper. I don't know how deep necessarily, but it is going deeper. And obviously that was an incredibly good move, as we have dropped now from that point 6.5%. All right. Anyway, so here's our zone, second wave support zone. This really should form as 3 waves down. Now, arguably, this could already be 3 waves down. I would, based on how kind of long and mature this pumping cycle was, I would probably expect this next little bear cycle to last a little longer. So that may just be our A wave that we just struck. Maybe that's the bottom, maybe it's not. But I think it's reasonable to expect some sort of B wave and then a C wave down into that deeper box. It doesn't necessarily need to, but I think it's reasonable to expect. So in any case, this area here is realistically the area that I would consider rebuying my longs. It may be a good idea to kind of wait and see what happens, but hourly, we're obviously very, very over sold at this point. 4 hour, we are as well very, very oversold at this point. And if you remember this 4 hour breakout, that's where I said, yeah, that's probably going to pump. Got that pump, and then I said at the time it's very possible it comes up and then comes down to retest, and guess where we are right now? It's basically retesting that line. So we do have potentially a retest of this. So if nothing else, again, I think it's reasonable to expect at least a small bounce from this area in a B wave. Now, that being said, it's Bitcoin. It can go quicker than anyone expects. So maybe it is taking the more accelerated route, and maybe that's the bottom, or maybe it just continues pushing downwards, finds a bottom here, and then bounces. It's hard to say. The other thing, as I said, though, is that if it breaks below 18,546, we are likely headed down into this green box, which was the original area I was waiting for. And that would complete then, this would be WX. So this is like A, B, C down, basically. So we can still see that happen. And honestly, I don't know which one is more likely. I mean, this start of this move was not particularly impulsive looking. So I, for the moment, lean in favor of the bulls holding this area. But it's not a guarantee. We can certainly see it continue to dump, and below 18,005 would be the cue to get out probably, and rebuy lower. And my average buy is 18.8, and I sold, I took profits in this area up here at 20.5, a decent portion of my spot buys. So realistically, stopping out below 18,546 is not a big deal. I actually will not lose money if I do that. I'll still have profit. So I can stop out there and then get in lower. So that would be my plan. And that's why it's important to just stay on top of the action, so you can kind of, especially if you're trying to trade short term, you can decide, okay, I'm going to get out here, I'm going to get back in here, and just flip the stack that way. So that's what I've been doing. All right, if this is going down in, let's see, a C wave, let me just make this a little smaller. That scenario's out. All right, let me look. If we draw a fib here, if that's A and that's B, number one, we've already gone very, very deep for a C, like super deep for a C. So that's kind of a worrying sign as far as, either that's not the end, like that's not ABC, maybe all of this is A, B, and C down further, or potentially that it intends to go down even further. But again, this doesn't look impulsive, but if it were, that would be 1, 2. This could be all of 3 right here, and 4 would come up to about here, 5 down to about 19.1. And maybe that is in fact what we're doing. That could then be our A wave, then we get a B up, then we get a C down. I'm not exactly sure. It's going to be tricky to track the corrective motion downwards. It always is. Corrective action is always tricky. And that's why this whole pumping region has been tricky, because it was all corrective action. It was all 3 waves. All right, but based on this, I think if we haven't already found a temporary bottom, I think expecting one in the 19K region, 19.1 or so, is, again, reasonable before a little bounce in a B wave, or potentially a significant bounce. I mean, this could do, from here, this could do a nice big B wave up, kind of fake everybody out, get up really high, and then plummet back down, and form a very large ABC. Anything is possible right now. So most importantly, I would say this is not a good time to be leveraging. If you were inclined to leverage or to buy anything, I would say do it all throughout this area with a stop below 18.5, and do it with a position that you are very comfortable losing. Because if it does break below 18.5, which is certainly possible, as I said, we're going down lower. So, all right. The other alternative, if somehow this is our A and that's our B, then I would say that we already have, of this little C wave, we have a 1 and a 2 right here. That 3 is very deep. Let's pretend for a minute the bottom's in on it, though. I would then expect resistance to hold right here, and again, bouncing area would be right about there, 19.140 to 19.297. That could reasonably be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in a C wave, and actually be the end. This could be A, B, and C, and that might just be the end of it. Like I said, I can't say for sure exactly right now what is going to happen, but we're just going to keep watching that and see what the micro action suggests. If we get down into this region and we see 5 waves up, it's go time. If we get into this region and we see 3 waves up, it's time to get out. And we'll just have to go from there. All right, hopefully that is helpful. I think that's all I have to say on Bitcoin. So, possibility that we're going to hold a second wave here relatively soon, or possibly after more corrective action, but not below 18.5. So above 18.5, we can take a more immediate route up. Bottom will already be in. Below 18.5, we should be visiting this area down here. And let me make sure, yeah, that should still be correct, because this didn't break a new high. So that is 15,473 to 17,773, and obviously that overlaps with this line in the sand that I've got at 15.7. So I would hope that we would strike just in the upper region of that, so we don't break 15.7. That would be ideal, but we will have to wait and see. All right. So anyway, trade safely. Be careful. We are in for more chop action, I think, for the next few days, maybe weeks, and this could get drawn out for quite some time, especially if it goes to new lows. So be safe in any trades you take, guys. And I will talk to you all again on Friday.